Hey. No, there's a gate here. There's ice here. But I know where I'm going. Wave to the camera. I think it's right up there. Maybe not. No, there's no camera there. Taking you somewhere where I used to work. I don't even know if it's still here. Sure is nice getting out. I was shut in there for too many days, and not only shut in but frozen pipes. It feels good to get out. I'll tell you what, I gotta pick a day when I want to get out, weather permitting, and do some off-grid camp. I want to pick a day when I do it and stick with the day and the time, so I can have like a schedule for you all that want to watch activities and adventures. Alright, this is the train I used to work for. It was a local passenger train, and it ran on these tracks right here. And these tracks run into Cape May, New Jersey. And this is the building that I used to go into. And this is where all the controls are for the railroad bridge. It has a generator there. It was all capable of being used 15 years ago. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in that little shack. I always remember what I used to have to say when the bridge would be closing for the train. I had that metal doors, them are windows. You had to have it like this, and all this barbed wire from vandals. But it looks like it's not too damaged. That's really good. And this here, now they use this for pedal bicycles, tracks. They're pedal tracks. But here's my railroad trestle that I used to operate. And I'll explain it to you. Let's do a little more illegal activity here. Hold on. Let me sit you down. That's a little rickety. So much clothes on, I can't get myself over there too easy. Going around either side doesn't look good. I made it. Alright, so this is what my job used to be. I operated this railroad bridge. There it is. This is in the Cape May Canal. That way's the Coast Guard base. That was the ferry where we came from, and that's the other side of the tracks. Right there's them wheels. I used to have to get out there and grease them. But how this would work is, see them tracks that are sticking up on the outer edge? When this bridge would come this way, it would lock here. These would connect. Those rails that are sticking up go in here. Make it all one solid piece for the train to come across. And I used to have to say, when the train was coming across and I had to close this, it took 3 minutes to close completely. From this position to close took 3 minutes. Track rails down, train could come across. And then after the train would leave, it would take 3 minutes to bring it back to its full position here. I used to have to say in an announcement 5 minutes before, I used to have to say a certain tone of saying, how it had to be repeated across the marine radio to the vessels in the harbor. I'd have to say, and it didn't sound like it made sense, but it's a universal thing. I used to have securite, securite, securite. The railroad bridge in the Cape May Canal will commence closing in 5 minutes. And then after 2 minutes. Securite, securite, securite. The Cape May Canal will be closing in 3 minutes. And then at the final call, that would be announced that the Cape May Canal Bridge was closing. And then it would be announced that it was closed to all vessels. And then the train would cross, and then it would get reversed. So that's a little bit of my history of the canal railroad bridge that people drive by and might not know what the heck it all was about. But look at the timber. Look at the size of that lumber that's used to build these things. Look at the size of that lumber. Wow. It's sad that it just sits there and just rusts. But it worked great. I never had a problem. See the rails sticking up on that side? They come down flat. Once you lock it in place, they come down flat and interlock right on top of these. Show you once again. Right on top of these. They're parts of the locking system. It locks down there. So it's all secure. And then the tracks connect right there. All right. I hope you enjoyed this little tour. And thank you. I'll shut you off now. I'm gonna head back to the car. Thank you very much. Hello, my friends again. This is the other part of the tracks. This is further down, about 10 miles. Same tracks. I'll walk you up here. These were some of the trains that used to cross that bridge that I showed you. Now they're just sitting here. Boston and Maine. So these been up and down the coast. These have an engine. They're not just pulled. That would probably be the engine here or here. Somewhere underneath is a diesel engine. And maybe up top there's probably the air conditioners, heaters. But yeah, these ran up and down these tracks. I've been wanting to get here, but we were snowed in. All this snow that I'm walking on now, I couldn't walk on before. This is also Boston and Maine. I have to look up the history of them. They are big. These used to cross that railroad bridge that I was showing you. Somewhere under here is the engine. These are diesel powered. I used to know what these cars were called. I'll look it up before I post this. Wow, look at these things. That's our Jersey things. Probably everywhere. Probably a diesel hookup. Probably the diesel tank. And these things were under their own power. And again, Boston and Maine. They traveled some cold weathers. All right. I'll come down more again sometime when I can maybe try to sneak around a little better. I just can't do it today because I have nowhere to put my car. But there you go. I'll find more out about them, but this is the access track. This was the actual main line. These trains used to run from Philadelphia down here to the shore. Way back in the day, it was steam trains, and they ran all the way into the islands. We have barrier islands here. They would run into I believe Avalon. I don't think Stone Harbor. I may be wrong. They did do some running into the islands. So Ocean City, Wildwood, North Wildwood. Okay, thank you, and I'll be back.